go to the NAACP or even, healthcare pays the cost for these type of evaluations. So I'm willing to do it by any means necessary, but I wish I just had the means so I could execute faster.
Right. And I'm going to be honest with you. I have to apologize to you on behalf of the Black Psychologist Queen, because, a lot of psychologists, because there's so much money in the well, actually, that's the reason why you shouldn't have an issue. I was going to say, the reason why a lot of folks who are looking for therapists, you're looking for the eval, but for those who are looking for therapy, they tend to have trouble because a lot of psychologists rather do the assessments because there's more money in it. But you know what? Have you contacted the universities?
No.
I want you to go to university route.
Pro bono type of stuff?
They may still charge you, but it's a discounted rate, because what happens is it's the graduate students who do the evaluation under the supervision of the licensed faculty. But every university, if it's a standard 4-year institution, they would have a counseling department and a psychology department. So like NYU or any of the other John Jay, any of the universities in New York, they would have a psychology. You want to ask for the psychology department. And when you get the psychology department, you want to tell them, my son needs an evaluation. I wanted to know if y'all offer that to the public, at all, and what would it cost? Like every college has that.
Wow, that's great. That's some great information. I will definitely follow up with that. I have some contacts at NYU. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, definitely, because for the psychology students, when we're working on our master's degrees and doctorate degrees, that's part of what we have to do. Like that was, my practicum. I had to evaluate folks. And so people came to the university, the college that I attended. I went to the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine, and I was in the Center for Brief Therapy. And so people would come and I would have to evaluate them and so forth. So definitely the universities would be able to help you out.
Similar to like the lawyers with their pro bono and
absolutely.
Got you.
Absolutely.
Nice. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna follow up with you.
Okay.
Secondly, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tried. Remember, I don't know if we mentioned on the call. I didn't try. I'm in the process of getting my 501c3, and I was going through this organization called New Yorkers Alliance. I went through the first assessment. The lady was like, "Oh, this is a great program. It sounds great." Man, I think it was too black, blackity black, because they denied me on no real basis. They were just like, "I'm so sorry. We can't help you. Wish you the best. I'm so sorry." And I'm like, damn. And the organization is called Nubian Improvement Association, a spin-off of and inspired by Universal Negro Improvement Association by Lawrence Garvey, incorporated in 1914 in Jamaica, 1960 in America. But I was like, dang, it was kind of disheartening. And a big thing that I'm trying to do, in regards to like a follow-up with the other sister calling in and like summer programs and stuff, there's like a scarcity or a summer camp deficit in the hoods or even after school programs where kids can actually learn new skills, tech, sports. Like they don't have those things like they did back in the 90s. You know what I mean? And these kids need it, especially since they're always on these devices, right? So I've been trying to use a nonprofit to help fund like a summer camp, because I'm trying to willingly launch a STEAM summer camp where kids could learn coding, robotics, fly drones, play basketball, paint, and all that kind of stuff. And I want to use a nonprofit to actually like create scholarships and sponsor you for my program and other programs as well. But it's hard. Like this little thing kind of messed me up. So I was wondering, how are you able, or if you do have a 501c3, how are you able to get that through? Like, is it easy to apply by yourself, or like, do you have any tips on that? I'm sorry.
My accountant actually did our nonprofit for the school. Yeah, so you might want to go to an accountant. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Umar. I'm going to donate to FDMG. I I can't wait to see the school. I hope to go down there. And I hope my boys, excuse my French.
Absolutely. And I'm going to still get with you, too, on that coding piece, too, Queen. I ain't forgot about that.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, my brother. But thank you for working so hard. We really appreciate you, and we love you, Dr. Umar.
Thanks so much, Queen.
All right. Have a blessed one.
All right, now. Peace and love.
Peace.
Good morning.
Brother Raymond, what's going on, brother?
I'm great, and yourself?
I'm good. You said you're here in Philly?
Yes. I just moved here from New York. You know, I've been here about like a year now.
Okay. Tell me what's going on with your son.
So, my son was born on February 24th, 2021, at the hospital here at Penn Medicine in the city.
Yes.
City. So, when he was born, you know, he had a rough start. So, you know, they had to put him in NICU and everything. And they did a couple of tests and whatnot. They seen that my wife's umbilical cord was a bit damaged. So they were afraid that, you know, there might be damage to the brain. So they did run a CAT scan. And thank God there weren't any damage to my son's brain. But however, it was they seen something that was kind of concerning that may lead to you know, learning disability, mental disability, you know. So they recommended that we come back, I believe when he was like 6 or 9 months, something like that, just to see how he's doing behavior wise. He went to the behavior specialist, and you know, they didn't say anything. He was fine. You know, he was moving the way like he should. You know, and from then they recommended to follow through with the program, just to keep up, you know, just to make sure everything's okay. I believe, but the second evaluation, they noticed that my son, he doesn't, you know, he doesn't make eye contact. And sometimes when you're speaking to him, you know, he will look at you and then he's focused on something else. So, you know, to them, it was kind of, you know, they were kind of worried. And, you know, according to the autism specialist, they felt that, you know, he's showing signs of autism. You know, they recommended us, my wife and I, some early intervention services. And he's been with the services for about a year now. And my son's going on 3, and his birthday will be next month. And, you know, he's making progress. You know, he's starting to pay attention more. At times when I speak to him, he will make eye contact. It's still a struggle here and there. But the only thing that's kind of had me worried is he's still not talking yet. He would just speak his baby language, and the only word that my wife and I, you know, he would say to us is mama, mama. And whenever he would say that, that means that he's hungry. Other than that, he plays, he knows how to build blocks, he knows, you know, he's a very playful child. So I know you have your services here in Philly, and, you know, I would appreciate if I would get a more direct evaluation from you. But, you know, just moving forward, is there any advice that I could possibly seek moving forward?
Okay, now you say he got the autism diagnosis already?
Yeah.
And he got it from who? Chop?
Chop, yeah.
Okay, and he's 3 right now, right?
He's turning 3 next month.
Okay, he'll be 3 when?
February 24th.
Okay, he'll be 3 at the end of the month. Once he turns 3, special ed services begin at 3. If you decide to get him some service early, because you might want him to get that speech therapy. But a couple things y'all need to make sure are not going on, because 3 is kind of young to confirm autism. It doesn't mean the diagnosis is wrong. It's just very early to make that. For me, when I evaluate kids that young, I may say provisionally he may have autism, but I'm not making a hard determination at that age because there's so many factors that can be impacting the situation. Number one, y'all got to make sure y'all get him an audiological evaluation.
Okay.
You want to make sure that there's absolutely no hearing deficits. Now, he might pass a hearing test, and he could still fail the audiological. So make sure you get an audiological evaluation from an audiologist to make sure there's nothing there, because I've seen children who had hearing problems get misdiagnosed as autistic. And then speech. You want to get them to speech therapy, whether you pay for it out of pocket, whether you get it through insurance, or whether you get it through the school district once he turns 3. You want to do the speech because a child who cannot communicate well won't communicate. And a lot of children with speech problems often appear to be autistic, and they're not. So hearing and speech are 2 things you definitely want to pay attention to. Okay. Now, other conditions that can look like autism, selective mutism. Some children, for whatever reason, don't talk until a certain point in life, and then they start talking out of nowhere. So you have your selective mutism, children who have been through some trauma. Now, your son been through some birth trauma, that could have exerted some influence as well. He could just be a slow developer. There's a lot there that could be unpacked. So I'm just saying, tread with caution. Don't make it too hard of a diagnosis. In your mind, keep the door open. And because he's so young, there's the potential where he can grow by leaps and bounds too. So, that's the other thing too. What else was I going to say? And the other thing you want to keep in mind, even if your son is autistic, that does not mean he needs special ed or a lot of it, because you can only qualify for special ed if your disability affects learning. So if your son can learn as well as any other kid, don't let them put him in special ed. Special ed is for kids whose disabilities affect their learning. It's not just for children with disabilities. So you want to keep that in your mind, because if you say, hey, my son can learn in a regular class, he might just need a one-on-one aid, then, that might be a 504 plan, not an IEP for special ed.
Okay.
And the other thing, too, with regard to speech, you might want to contact the African American Speech and Language Therapists Association to get some referrals for speech therapists in Philly, because you do want to pay for some service out of your pocket.
Right. Okay. Definitely. At the moment, with CHOP and my wife's insurance, he sees a behavior specialist, a therapist, and a speech therapist, 2 days every week. So, however, they did say, he's making steady progress, but, he still needs work. But, we've been going forward with the early intervention, none the least.
I got you. And also with that early intervention, y'all going to have to decide if y'all want them to get, the special instruction from 3 to 5 as well, because special ed is from 3 until you start, the early intervention component of special ed is from 3 until you start kindergarten. So y'all would have to decide if y'all want them to get the special instruction. The autistic kids, they often give them the ABA therapy. It's only as good as the therapist you're getting. So make sure you don't get so hung up on the service. You want to see who's providing the service. You know what I mean? It's all about who you get, so make sure you pay attention to that. But don't put any limits on him, because I've seen children start slow and end up as the sharpest children in the school. I've seen it. So don't put no limits on him, but keep a close watch. And make sure he get enough social interaction with children his age. Because a lot of the children who, appear to be autistic, they are socially deprived. I just consulted with a parent not too long ago, and their child gets no interaction with other children their age. And I said, so how you know this is autism? Y'all don't give him opportunity to interact with other children. So when he goes around other children, of course he's going to avoid them, because this is social anxiety. That's not autism. That's social anxiety, because he has no social skills, because y'all don't let him play or interact with other kids his age. So how do we know this is autism versus social anxiety due to deficits in interacting with other kids? So make sure he interacts with other children his age.
Definitely. And I think that might have played a part because, he was the first child. And my wife gave birth to my daughter, the following year. So he has been doing better interacting with his sister. My daughter is 1 year old now, and he's going on 3. So he's making progress. He's starting to be around, other children. His sister's helping him out. Compared to before, he didn't have any daycare experience. He was just home with the grandparents while, my wife and I was at work. So
yeah, see that, yeah.
Social experience now.
Yeah, see that right there, what you just mentioned, that would make me go slower in terms of looking at him for autism. You see, because he didn't get that early intervention experience. He was home with the grandparents. Right. That can help explain a lot. It doesn't mean he ain't got the autism, but he definitely got other things that's contributing to that deficiency. So we got to get him the regular interaction. He should be interacting with other kids at least 3 times a week. Whether that's regular play dates or whatever, children in the neighborhood. But without that, it's no way for him to improve.
Definitely.
And y'all going to have to also start making him say some words to get what he want. Y'all don't want to set up a situation where he don't have to talk. All he got to do is point and make sounds. Tell him, if you want this, you're going to have to talk. Y'all have to make him a little uncomfortable in order for him to grow. No struggle, no progress.
Oh yeah. The therapist told us that as well. So, sometimes when he's hungry, we let him know, say, I want, say, please. We're working with him. And there's been times when we giving him that tough love, and he will magically just do, he would just make his hands such a way to let us know that that's what he wants. And, but once again, we're trying with the speech. We're trying.
Got you.
But thank you, Dr. Umar. I know you got other calls to get to. I really appreciate
no problem, brother. Keep me posted.
Will do. Thank you so much.
No problem, bro. All right.
Hello.
Good morning, Sister Ty. How are you?
Good morning.
What part of Florida are you in?
Oh, I'm in South Florida, so I am near Miami.
Okay. Because I was going to say, we got the protests in Bunell Wednesday, and I'm in Jacksonville Thursday, but I know that might be several hours away from you.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead with your question, Queen.
So my question is, I have a 3-year-old. She did ADOS testing with Johns Hopkins and Fort Myers, Florida. They're the ones that said that she was autistic. She's currently in daycare around the age from around 4, because she turns 4 in May. They say, that they can start entering elementary school. However, she's in daycare. She's not getting any services. She does the body rocking. So she'll sit in the chair and she will rock, bang her body, or she will bang her head a lot.
So I was wondering, because I'm confused with the difference between IEPs and 504 plans. So I'm a social worker, so I work with children, but not educationally, just child welfare. So I have children on my caseload that has like an IEP, not necessarily a 504. So I'm more familiar with the IEP versus the 504. And I've been referred several times to have an IEP done for her. So
And you said she's 4?
She'll be 4 in May.
Okay, so she turned 3 this past May.
Yes.
Okay, because upon her 3rd birthday, she was eligible for special ed services through the local public school district in the form of early intervention. Special ed is from 3 to 21. So at this time, you could contact the local public school district and ask them for an early intervention evaluation because your daughter, has been diagnosed with autism. So I'm pretty sure she probably has some speech issues. And so she would get the speech therapy. She could also get special instruction for the autism as well. Now, 504 is only accommodations. I don't really see how a 504 would benefit her in preschool. Because 504 is like extra time to take your test. Now, you can't get a 101-8 with a 504. Extra time, regular breaks, that kind of thing, all of which you can get on the IEP as well. The difference between the 504 and the IEP is the 504 is strictly accommodations. IEP is instruction. With 504, there is no instruction. It's only accommodations. So, if you do let's say she gets to kindergarten and you say 504, then they'll give her regular breaks. She'll get extra time. She could have a 1-to-1 and that's mostly it. With IEP, she get taken out the class for one-on-one help or small group help. IEP is for instructional modifications. 504 is only for functional accommodations. So she can function in that environment. 504 is more about your ability to function. IEP is your ability to learn. So with IEP, there's changes to the instruction. 504 is not involved in instruction, only with providing you with supports.
Okay, so she does have an IEP evaluation coming up this Tuesday. Should I still continue with that, or should I go?
I think it'd be good for her to get the speech because she's only 3. I think it'd be good for her to get the speech. It may be good for her to get the special instruction or the ABA therapy with autism. They're not going to do but so much with her. My biggest question for you would be, how much confidence do you have in the autism diagnosis? Because if you say, I'm not sure it's autism, then I would tell them I only want speech. If you say, I feel pretty strongly it's autism, then I would go forward and let them evaluate for the autism as well. Because the one thing you got to be careful of with the autism is if the child isn't autistic and you put her around children who are, she will mimic the behavior. And she will, start appearing to be autistic even if she's not. That's my only concern with getting them diagnosed with autism so young. You put them in that autistic setting. How do you know this is her versus just her mimicking the behavior of the other children? So that's where, your instincts as a mother will have to help you make that decision, whether you want to limit the IEP evaluation to speech only, or whether you want them to look for the autism as well.
Okay. I want both. And the reason why I want both is because I've been told from the very beginning, there were little signs where she was like a newborn and she would sit in her rocker and she would rock her foot. And then the rocking became to now she's like full blown body rocking. So like she can sit in a chair. If you were to see her sit in a chair, she's rocking back and forth. And some people are confused and concerned. They're like, she's banging her head. Is she hurting herself? And she's completely fine. She does the body rocking. She does have the delayed speech. The potty training I'm a bit concerned about, but she's 3, and a lot of people say at that age they potty train at different ages. It is what it is, so we're still working on it. But the behavior, she's around children that don't have any of those behaviors, and sometimes they're mimicking what she's doing, and they think it's funny, and they want to join in, and she's not doing it because it's funny. It's just something that she's always done since she was a baby. So they recommended the IEP, plus they did the ADOS testing, and they said that she was on the spectrum. the problem with being on the spectrum is they didn't really tell me what end of the spectrum she was on. They just said, oh, well, she's a bit higher functioning. You know, she it's behavioral. She just, it's the body language.
Well, keep in mind, Queen, that there's really no testing for autism. Okay. When people say they test, it's kind of misleading parents. Just like there's no testing for ADHD. Any type of externalizing disorder, that determination is made through observation. And it's made through history. There's no test that says this kid is all, no. Externalizing disorders, externalizing behaviors, those diagnoses are made through observation. I'm telling you that because your observation should matter more than theirs because you're with her all the time. They're only going to see her for a couple hours. You're with her all the time. So don't be misled by somebody telling you, our evaluation has determined X. An evaluation, testing is a part of an evaluation, but you can evaluate a kid without testing. And with autism, it's more about what you see. ADHD, what you see. Conduct disorder, what you see. It has nothing to do with any paper and pencil testing. I want to make sure you're clear about that. It's all about observation. And that's why your observation should always matter more than someone else's.
Thank you. That's understood. My question is, would you recommend to me going forward with the IEP evaluation that we have set up this upcoming?
Right. As I was saying, for speech, I would. For autism, you have to make that decision. Because when you go in there, they're going to want to test her for everything. And you don't want them loading up on your daughter this young. So if you were if you said, I'm not sure about the autism, then I'll say only get her tested for speech right now. But, if you feel like it could very well be autism, then go ahead and let them test for it. But as I told the father who called in before you, just because she has autism doesn't mean she needs an IEP. If that autism doesn't affect her learning, and early intervention, it doesn't matter because when she gets to kindergarten, she should get evaluated again, or you can request another evaluation at that time when she's 5 or 6 to see if she still needs an IEP. In other words, IEPs are not perpetual. If you feel the kid no longer needs it, request the eval to eliminate it. I mean, you could eliminate the service anytime you want. Special ed service can be stopped when you want. But to get that label off your child so it's no longer in her record and following her around, that would take another evaluation. So make sure they evaluate her before kindergarten to see if, if she's still displaying signs of autism.
Okay.
In other words, if all goes well, maybe she'll get to kindergarten and she might have outgrown it and now she needs nothing at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm following. So IEP for speech and then possibly some ABA.
Right.
Services.
Right. But let them know you're not looking for anything else. You want to make sure you say that because you don't want them coming back talking about your daughter is intellectually disabled, emotionally disturbed. The only thing, and you want to write that on a permission to evaluate form. They give you a permission to evaluate form after you sign it. By your name somewhere. I don't care where you write it. You should put speech and autism only or speech only. Put the word only next to the disorder, because if you don't, they will look for everything. Because remember, they get more money the more labels they put on your daughter.
Okay.
So you want to make sure you let them know this is all you're looking for with my child. Well, we think there might be some emotional. I don't care. You're not looking at that with my daughter. I'm only giving you permission to look for speech and autism.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Queen. Keep me posted.
Thank you.
Okay, hon. All right.
Hello?
Good morning, good sister. How do I pronounce your name? Tivoli?
Yeah, you said it right.
Oh man, Sister Tivoli, and you live in Bunnell.
Bunnell.
You just became my best friend because, as you know, I have the protest coming up Wednesday, right?
Uh-huh.
And
I'll be there.
I appreciate that. I need you, and I know we only got 2 days, so you got to forgive me because I was dependent on some other folks. I need to get some signs made for the protest. I was working with Jacksonville, some printers there, black folks, and they really haven't been responding to me the way I asked them to. One of them got back to me yesterday and said they need 4 business days to do a sign. You know, a sign that basically, you know, a big foam board sign, you know, that has Brendan's face on it, Justice for Brendan Deppa, you know, maybe some wording beneath it. I don't know if you know any, you know, places down there that could probably do something like that with a quick turnaround time. But we definitely need it. We definitely need it. So if you could do some looking around for me, say, hey, I found a print shop. They said, even if it's only one sign, even if it's just one, you know, I would like maybe, you know, 4 or 5. But if we can get one big one, one big 3 to 5 with his face, Justice for Brendan Deppa, I'm fine with that. But I definitely need to get some.
Definitely try to get something.
Thank you, Queen. I greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. One other question. Have you ever been to that Kim C. Hammond Justice Center where we're going to be protesting? Have you been there before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Because I was going to ask you, you know, what's the layout? You know, we're going to go down and look at it anyway before the protest. But I was just wondering. Now, that I'm assuming that's pretty much a white town, right? Or it's a lot of us down there?
We had the white folk section on one side and the black folk section, and they kind of took over our gym
Okay.
a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem. And the other thing I could use, the sign is most important. The sign is most important. So focus on that, please. The other thing, we do have a mobile, what I want to say, a mobile PA system that we're going to bring down from Jacksonville. One of the elders has it, and he's going to have a battery for it. You know, it's going to be charged up so we can use it. But I did want to have a backup in case that goes out. So I don't know if there's a place where we could rent any audio visual place somewhere in Bunnell where we could actually rent a portable, you know, speaker microphone unit, you know, with a chargeable battery in it. But that's something else we can also use. Yeah. You know them old school ones the elders used to have. You just roll it around and turn it on and plug the mic in, kind of thing. We need something like that. But yeah, we will have one. But I kind of wanted a backup. I was wondering if there's a place we could rent one of those. But those are the 2 things. The sign is primary though, and then the backup sound system would be secondary.
Okay, we might can find that in Palm Coast, which is only like a 10-minute drive from here.
Okay. If you can do some looking around for me, because if you find it, you say, Doc, this is the place, then I can just call them myself and, you know, pay for the pickup and drop off and so off, you know. And with the signs, you know, if we can find somebody tomorrow sometime who say, yeah, you know, we can have it ready maybe Tuesday, late afternoon, evening. I might depend on you to pick it up for us. The signs, you know, or we can, because we're going to be driving down from Jacksonville Wednesday morning. But if we need to send somebody, you know, to dip off and grab them, we could. But if they can have a quick turnaround, if they need the pictures, they can get them right offline, because that's where we get them. We don't have any official pictures. We just take Brendan, you know, pictures from offline. And if they say what you want on it, you can just say Justice for Brendan Deppa. We want a 3x5 sign, Justice for Brendan Deppa. Ask them if they can do more than one. If they can do more than one, we'll take 4 of them. 4 3x5s with his picture real big. Yeah. Okay.
I'm
So
definitely work on that. And this is my number, and you can call me.
Okay, I'm gonna definitely.
Make sure I got it together.
Definitely, I'm gonna lock you in. And now that I didn't load it off on you with all my stuff, talk to me. What's your question, good sister?
I actually only have it's 2 questions. Do you recommend homeschooling? And my second question was, my daughter, she's 13. She's really good at school, but I don't think the environment she likes too much, and she's been begging me to homeschool her. Okay. So I was just wondering, do you recommend homeschooling? And if so, do you know where I can start or begin the process of getting her homeschooled?
Yes, indeed. First of all, homeschooling is a very big industry, so you will not have a problem finding curriculum programs I mean, the homeschool industry has exploded over the years. If you go online and type in homeschool curriculum, you're going to get thousands of hits. So in terms of putting together your program, you're going to have no problem. There's homeschool packets that you can just buy, the entire homeschool curriculum you can just buy. There's also a Dr. Baruti, Mwalimu Baruti in Atlanta. You could Google him, and he's been homeschooling. He helps other parents homeschool. He's one of the elders in the conscious community, and you can reach out to him for that as well. But he's a homeschooler, him and his wife.
Okay. What was his name again?
Mwalimu, 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 Mwalimu. It means teacher. That was actually Malcolm X's name he was given when he was in Africa. Mwalimu. It means teacher. And Baruti, Baruti, Baruti.
Okay.
Yeah, look him up. I'm pretty sure he's on Facebook, Instagram. I think he has a website. He's also author of the book, A Feminization of the Black Male, that came out more than 20 years ago. It's a classic book. He's the author of plenty of books, great writer. But you definitely want to link with him. He's in Atlanta. But like I said, you know, there's nothing but homeschool stuff everywhere. You go to, you know, Barnes and Noble, although we want to support our black bookstores, you know, Barnes and Noble has a very large homeschooling section, even on their website. But I would definitely get in touch with him. But the more important things, though, Queen, you know, for your purposes, you know, do you have the time, the support? Young children are much more amenable to homeschooling. You know, once they hit middle school to high school, it can get a little tougher because they tend to want a little bit more social interaction. But as long as you got the time, you know, you're an organized person, and you and your children have a good relationship, because there's nothing worse than a child being homeschooled by a parent they do not like. It's nothing but child abuse. And I've seen that before, where, you know, the kids look forward to going to school to get away from mom and dad. And now mom and dad is homeschooling them. And so for them, it's like they're living in a prison. So, you know, but if you got the time, you know, you're organized and you're disciplined. You got to be disciplined, because I've seen parents who are not disciplined, who homeschool, and their children end up missing weeks and months of learning, you know, and they're not even paying attention to it. Like, you only taught this kid Monday, the other 4 days you were busy. So you have parents who work 3 and 4 jobs, and then they activists, or they got their own nonprofit. How you got time to homeschool your kid? You know, and I've seen real bad situations where the parents took the kid out of school, never really taught him nothing, and then go to stick them back in school, and now the child's struggling because they're all the way behind. They're not retarded. They're not learning disabled, and they just can't take it because it's like, mom and dad didn't teach me nothing. Now I'm back in school, and academically I'm on the 4th grade level, even though I'm supposed to be in 7th, and it's not even my fault. You know, so just make sure, you know, you're organized and disciplined. Without organization and discipline and a good relationship with children, nobody should be homeschooling. You got to have those things. But if you got those things, it can be a very, very positive experience.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. That was my only question.
No problem,
Thanks for
Queen.
taking the time out. I'm going to start working on those times today.
Oh, thank you so much, Queen. Thank you so much.
Have a blessed day.
You too, love. Take care. All right. Okay. When are you coming back to DC? Working on it. I have a daughter from Mississippi. I spoke to her about everything in the book. Tonight I found out she's sneaking boys over. I went through her phone to find out there's a picture with her and a boy in the tub together. She's only 14. Where we're from, there's no activity, so as a parent, I do my best to keep them active. I'm looking for the best advice for discipline. I really do need answers for my daughter. I'll put her in communicate. I had her talk to a counselor. Okay.
Hello.
Good morning, Sister Kai. How's Mississippi treating you?
it's pretty good. I'm surviving.
Okay, I just read your message to me about your daughter. Where is her biological father?
He's here in the same town with us.
Okay, how often does she spend time with her father?
Not often.
She needs her daddy. All this is thirsty behavior because she's looking for validation from a man, which should be her father. Remember, promiscuity in our girls is really about emotional and psychological validation. It's not about sex. It leads to sex, but it's not about sex. She needs to be validated. Her self-esteem is not where it should be. All of this is daddy issues. Her being in the tub with the boys, sneaking boys over. That's daddy issues. She may not even realize it.
I have put her in community care for that because she tried to commit suicide, and she had a lot of suicide thoughts.
Okay, the suicide. So that's even bigger stuff, which helps explain the risky behavior. Why do you think she's trying to commit suicide? Where's the hopelessness coming from? What's going on at home that has her wanting to commit suicide?
Well, she said it was because of her dad. But hold on.
There you go. Go ahead.
I was also placed in and out of mental hospitals and stuff because of suicide. So I didn't know. Okay, I know about her dad, but I didn't know. Some say it's hereditary. It was because of me, because my mom was suicidal. I was suicidal, and now my daughter is like that. And I try to break the cycles or whatever, break the chains, but it's like nothing is really helping.
But going back to the dad, what can we do for him to start spending more time with his daughter? Is he aware of the suicides?
He is aware.
Is he a responsible guy? Like what?
He was doing a certain type of drug, and I don't want him alone with her too much, you know. But I do allow him to come, you know, take her to get something to eat or whatever time he try to spend with her, I do allow it. I just pay close attention because sometimes he's not himself.
Okay, she needs time with him. This thirsty behavior doesn't stop. Like you said, she said it was because of the dad. She wants her father's love. And if she don't get it, God forbid, she's willing to hurt herself, you know, for not getting it. So this is all about him. So whether he's on drugs or not, you know, of course she can't be around him when he's on the drug, you know, but if he's a functional addict and he can spend time with his daughter, that needs to happen. You're not going to solve this by yourself because children have a natural need, you know, to spend time with both parents. Has there been any sexual molestation?
No. I spoke with. I literally just picked her up. It's at 2 a.m. It's 7 here, and from her aunts in another town, an hour away. And after she got in trouble with her aunt because some boys was in the house, I looked through her phone and I found a picture of her, you know, in a tub with another guy, and they were both naked. So I've talked to her. I've asked the questions. I wanted honesty, and I want her to be truthful with me and not lie. But it's like the more I talk, nothing helps. I don't want to beat my child.
No. This ain't got nothing to do with beating her, and this ain't got nothing to do with you questioning her, because you already know what the problem is. It's no need to question her. We know what the problem is. She doesn't feel loved by either parent, I believe. She's engaging in risky behavior. She's willing to harm herself because her life feels hopeless because she doesn't feel that either parent is investing in her. That's what this is. So we don't have to, go ahead. We don't have to interview her. We know what's going on. The question is, what are we going to do about it?
I've tried. I've talked to a community care counselor.
How many other does she have a therapist now? And I'm not blaming you, Queen. I'm not. Does she have a therapist now?
Yes, she does.
How often does she see the therapist?
In school, they pull out of class. And
No. Not no school. That ain't real therapy. Outside of school. School counseling is not real therapy. That's outside of school, who does she have? She needs a therapist outside of school, private.
Okay. The people from community care outside of school, they come to the school also. So actually, it's 3 times a week.
You're talking about the behavioral. She gets wraparound services, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't think that all they care about is money. Yeah, she needs another therapist. You need to find her someone else. How long she been with that communicator therapist?
It's going on a year and a half.
A year and a half, and she still got her problems. You know what that means? They're useless. So you need to tell them you need another therapist. But what you really need to do is Google black psychologists, black therapists, black social workers, black counselors in your area. Call them up. Ask them if they take your insurance. If they don't, how much will they charge out of pocket? Most counselors, therapists, psychologists, clinical social workers, they have a sliding scale. So, they'll work with you. But you need to find her somebody privately. That therapist that comes to your house, she probably got 20 other clients. It's all about money. They're not and you got to get a new one anyway. So with the Communicare, you need to call them and say, we need a new therapist. This one been with my daughter for a year and a half. I'm not seeing no benefit. We should have been dropped them after 6 months when we didn't see any benefit. Remember, with therapy, it's all about goodness of fit. It's not just my daughter got a therapist. No. Is the therapist working with you? Is your daughter benefiting from the therapist? If the child isn't benefiting, you got to switch them out. And it's time for you to switch that one out. But what I'm saying to you, them behavioral health companies, because I used to work for them, they care enough. They all about money. And they be taking on a lot of cases. It's about money. So what you need to do is, in addition to changing her therapist with Communicare, you need to find you a psychologist, a counselor, a social worker, or a therapist on your own by, getting on the internet and seeing, what they would charge to come and talk with your daughter once a week or once every other week.
Like, I have done that. That's what I was trying to say. I have done it.
So where's the outside therapist?
I took her to Oxford, Mississippi, and just like where Ole Miss is, and I paid cash money, and it's like they just wanted the money. It's like Then
find somebody else. We got to keep going. You can't stop. Your daughter is engaging in suicidal behaviors. You keep going until you get the right person. It's not a one and done. I took her to a therapist. It didn't work. There's a million therapists out there. You have to keep going until you find the right one. That's how therapy works, because it's all about the fit. It's all about the relationship. You might got to go through 20 people before you get the right one for your child.
But can I say this?
She needs a man. I think she needs a black male therapist, but go ahead.
She does, and I totally agree. But the thing is, because I've been in community care where they took me in mental hospital, even when I speak out because of what I know, they try to make me feel as if I'm dumb or I shouldn't say certain things. So if I say things or try to get this help for her or include myself, I'm going to a mental hospital. When in actuality, I'm not crazy at all. I know a lot of stuff, but because I've been thrown in there or I get beat by police as a deacon, it's just like I'm kind of scared to reach out, and I don't want to feel like there's fear in me, but I've been through too much,
Then who else in your family can help you find your daughter a therapist? I just want to make sure you realize how dangerous
absolutely
this is.
Nobody.
Black girls. How old is your daughter? 14?
Nobody. Because honestly, it wasn't. I try to get help now. Nobody. I'm the go-to person for everyone in my family. When I say everyone, I mean everyone. I'm the go-to person.
I got you. But for right now, you can't be the go-to person for nobody else but your daughter. You got to shut everybody else out right now. It ain't about them. It's about her. Your daughter is 14, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, black girls 12 to 17 are the fastest growing suicide risk in America since COVID. That's your daughter's group. Your daughter's group, black girls her age, fastest growing suicide risk in this country. We can't play and we don't have time to lose. So, go ahead.
No, but I'm trying. I haven't given up. I'm not going to give up on my child, on my daughter. The thing is once I start telling everybody, no, okay, she's going crazy again, so she's going back to a mental hospital. So therefore, it leaves my mother to try to take custody of my child. But she didn't even take care of me. She's not. My mother isn't my mother. She's that body, but spiritually, that's not my mother, and I know that. And then, you know, she worked with the police to try to take me down. So it's like, I want help from the family, but they're not going to help me, you know. And I'm doing it alone, and it's very, very depressed. I'm not going to go back to that dark, dark place I was in, but I'm not going to give up on my child either. So I'm trying really hard. The only option I have is maybe run away, escape Mississippi with my children, and then I don't know.
You may have to. You may have to. You may have to. I just don't know if your daughter has that much time.
Okay.
You know, you know what you may have to do?
What's that?
And that's also, to put her in foster care, that opens up other risk factors as well. Sex trafficking, abuse, they'll likely put her in a group home. But here's my question. Where is she safer at? Because if you have no control over her at all, it may be safer for you to contact child services and say, I'm not able to properly care for my daughter at this time, and she's engaging in high risk behavior, and she needs to be placed in foster care. That may be safer than your home right now, because it sounds like she's doing whatever, and you're not able to really provide her with the supervision that she needs. So my question to you is, what would be safer? Her staying with you, doing what she wants, or you putting her in foster care? Because I don't want that girl to end up getting kidnapped into sexual trafficking, because I don't know what I fear more right now. Suicide, sex trafficking, or her ending up with an incurable STD. Those are my three concerns for your daughter. Suicide, sex trafficking, incurable STD. And so, again, my question for you is she safer with you, or do you need to call child services and place her in foster care?
Honestly, in my heart, spirit, no, she's safe with me. Here where I'm at, the whole plan is to keep me in a lower state of mind so that they can take what's close to me to her more. Now, on the spiritual level, it's like she's being so. Now, let me update. On top of those things you said, the three things with her: suicide, kidnap, or STD.
Let me ask you a question. She ain't got no aunts or uncles that have a better living situation who she respects and could go live with?
She does, but again, on my mom's side, I think everybody. On her dad's side, she doesn't know them that well, and they're kids.
It doesn't matter if she know him that well. It don't matter if she know him that well. Is there someone on the father's side who will take her in? Or someone on the mother's side who would take her in? It's not about convenience. It's not about preference. It's about survival.
I promise you, I have reached out that she is on. Same with me. It's like I try to break these chains. I was supposed to be kept quiet. They was paid to keep me quiet because my father was married. So with her, it's no situation where getting paid. They just not have nothing to do with her. I've reached out. I even just try to talk. Even I go to the house. Sometimes I feel like it's my fault because I was considered sick, and I was she was here when they tried to kidnap me. It was here when her and my son I got raped here. So I feel like maybe what I've been has been a problem with her this way.
You need to talk to the relatives, and you need to see if one of them who is responsible enough and willing enough to take her will take her. She needs to get out your house. If she stays in your house, she's going to end up hurting herself, or she's going to end up as a sex trafficking victim. She got to get out your house. So whether that's to a relative or whether that's to foster care, she has to get out your house.
Okay, next question. What is it about my past?
Say that again.
What is it about my past?
It doesn't sound like she likes being there, and it doesn't sound like you have enough control over her behavior. Now, if you want to pick up and move to another city, you could, but her issues are going to go with her. So she'll just be in a new city and she'll still be sexually promiscuous. You're breaking up, Queen. You must have went to an area without good reception. You're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. She tells me sometimes I'm a little overprotective or too strict on her because I don't let her go with her friends. But her friends are all talking to guys that are over age. And I try to protect her from things like that. I'm not a strict parent at all. I give her time to breathe, and a lot of things that happen with me I don't do with her. So it's like, okay, do I be the strict parent? Do I let her have her freedom? It's like no matter what I do.
You get. I think she needs out the house. Y'all have a relationship issue.
Okay.
Her and the father, she's not happy there. She needs to get out the house, or y'all need to go to family therapy. But it don't seem like you too motivated to find another therapist, and we don't have time to lose. Every day is a risk here.
Well, it's like I am looking for a therapist, but the last therapist, she was an African doctor or therapist, whatever, and all she kept telling me was, "Y'all need Jesus."
Well, that was unethical. That was unethical. That you should have reported her. No therapist is supposed to push their religion on you.
I actually went on Facebook, and once I start speaking again, I get thrown in a mental facility. Or if I'm feel like they're...
You got thrown in a mental facility for being on Facebook?
Yes, the police came to my house and told me to stay off Facebook.
The police came to your house and told you to stay off Facebook?
Yes, sir, I promise you. Yes. Every time I try to speak up, I got beaten by them. This is what I'm telling you. My children was here. I got the videos on my Facebook Live. It's like they're threatening me. Like, it's basically like a torture ritual or so. Something is crazy going on. I don't want to speak too much because it's a little fear in me because of what could re-happen. So when I speak, I'm in trouble. They use my kids to try to take them away from me to keep me quiet. You get me?
I hear you.
I know.
What's your city? What county are you in Mississippi? What county?
Yellow Bush County. Water Valley, Mississippi.
Yellow Bush?
Yellow Bush, Water Valley, Mississippi.
Water Valley, Mississippi. We got any brothers and sisters near Water Valley, Mississippi who can help this parent out? Please text Dr. Umar. Any brothers and sisters near Water Valley, Mississippi who might have some solutions for this dear mother and her daughter, please text me so I can put you in contact with her. She's in Water Valley, Mississippi. What's your closest major city, good sister? Where you by Jackson or Hattiesburg? Where are you?
Oh, actually, Mississippi, Ole Miss.
Near Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is in what town?
Oxford.
Oxford, Mississippi. So you're not, how far are you from Oxford, Mississippi?
20 minutes.
20 minutes from Oxford, Mississippi in Water Valley, Mississippi. Sister says she in Alabama. If anybody wants to help the Queen, I'm going to, it's okay for me to text your number to some of these brothers and sisters who say they can help.
That's absolutely fine.
Okay, I'm going to do that, Queen. So I'm going to let you go at this time. I want you to keep an eye on the Queen. I'm going to wish you well. Stay in touch with me. You have my number, but you should be hearing from some folks today in Mississippi.
Okay, thank you, King.
Okay, Queen. Be blessed. All right now.